Have you ever wondered how podcasts have become such a global phenomenon? It's a question that sparks intrigue, isn't it? In the digital age, podcasting has skyrocketed in popularity, becoming a preferred medium of content for many. It's like the radio reimagined for the 21st century, an audio experience that transcends boundaries and time zones. The rise of podcasting is nothing short of remarkable. It's a world where stories, ideas, and conversations come alive, reaching millions of ears worldwide. From the gripping tales of true crime to the insightful dialogues of TED Talks, podcasts have captured the collective imagination. They've influenced various industries, from entertainment to education, business to wellness, and everything in between. Some of the most popular podcasts, like Serial and The Daily, have set the tone, pushing the boundaries of what's possible with this medium. They've shown us that in the world of podcasting, the possibilities are as vast as our imaginations. Podcasting has undeniably revolutionized the way we consume content. So, what makes a podcast stand out amongst the thousands available, you might ask? Well, the magic behind a successful podcast lies not in extravagant production or high-profile guests, but in a few key ingredients: engaging content, compelling hosts, and a dedicated listener base. Firstly, let's talk about content. It is the heart and soul of any podcast. Engaging content grabs the listener's attention and keeps them coming back for more. Whether it's an intriguing tale, a captivating interview, or a deep dive into a niche topic, the content should be interesting and relevant. It should spark curiosity and provide value, making listeners feel like they've gained something from tuning in. Next, we have the hosts. The hosts are the voice of the podcast, the storytellers who breathe life into the content. A compelling host is someone who can connect with the audience, someone who can make them laugh, make them think, and make them feel. They should be knowledgeable, sure, but also authentic and relatable. They should have a unique perspective and a distinctive voice that sets them apart from the crowd. Last but certainly not least, we have the listeners. A dedicated listener base is crucial to the success of a podcast. These are the people who tune in episode after episode, who share the podcast with their friends, who engage with the hosts and contribute to the community. They are more than just passive consumers. They are active participants in the podcast experience. So how do these elements come together? It's like a symphony. The content is the melody, the hosts are the instruments, and the listeners are the audience. Each element is important on its own, but together they create a harmonious blend that is far greater than the sum of its parts. A successful podcast, then, is not just about broadcasting content into the void. It's about creating a shared experience, a conversation, a community. It's about telling stories and inviting others to be a part of those stories. It's about connecting with people on a deeper level, sparking curiosity, and providing value. A successful podcast blends all these elements into a coherent and engaging whole. It's a magical experience, and that's the true secret behind a successful podcast. But how do podcast hosts keep their conversations engaging and fresh? A question that often baffles many, but the answer lies in the art of conversation. Podcasting isn't just about speaking into a microphone. It's about creating a dialogue that resonates with listeners, and this is achieved through a variety of techniques. Firstly, podcast hosts often use open-ended questions to initiate and maintain the flow of conversation. These types of questions require more than a simple yes or no response, encouraging guests to share their stories, insights, and perspectives. This not only provides a deeper understanding of the topic at hand, but also allows for a more engaging and interactive conversation. Secondly, creating a safe space for guests is paramount. This means fostering an environment where guests feel comfortable sharing their thoughts, opinions, and experiences without fear of judgment or ridicule. This is achieved through active listening, empathy, and respect. When guests feel at ease, they are more likely to open up and share more, which ultimately leads to a richer and more engaging podcast. Thirdly, balancing between serious and lighthearted topics is key. While it's important to delve into serious issues and discussions, it's equally important to inject humor and lighthearted banter. This can help to break the ice, make the conversation more enjoyable, and keep listeners engaged. It's all about finding the right balance and knowing when to switch gears. Furthermore, successful podcast hosts are often skilled at adapting their communication style to match their guests. They recognize that every guest is unique, and therefore the approach to the conversation should be tailored to suit their personality, communication style, interests, and comfort level. Remember, The heart of a great podcast lies in its ability to captivate listeners through compelling conversation. It's about creating a dialogue that is both informative and entertaining, where listeners feel like they're part of the conversation, rather than just a passive observer. In essence, the art of podcast conversation revolves around creating an engaging dialogue that resonates with listeners, and this requires a blend of open-ended questions, a safe and respectful environment, a balance of serious and lighthearted topics, and adaptable communication styles. Mastering the art of conversation is crucial to a podcast's success. What role do listeners play in the success of a podcast? This is a question that reveals the backbone of any podcast's triumph. Yes, we're talking about you, the listeners. Listeners, dear friends, are more than just passive consumers in the world of podcasting. They're active participants who contribute in ways that transcend the simple act of tuning in. You may wonder, how so? Well, let me enlighten you. Listeners with their diverse perspectives and unique insights can shape the direction of a podcast. You see, every email, every comment, every tweet sent by a listener carries weight. This feedback, whether it's a word of appreciation, a constructive critique, or a topic suggestion, acts as a compass for podcast creators. It guides them, helping them understand what resonates with their audience, what needs tweaking, and what new territories to explore. Imagine having a conversation without any response from the other side. It feels incomplete, right? That's how it would be for podcasters without their listeners' feedback. It's the listeners' responses that complete the conversation, making podcasting a two-way street. Now let's touch on another crucial aspect, the growth of a podcast. The magic formula here is simple. A dedicated listener base equals a thriving podcast. The more listeners a podcast has, the more popular it becomes. And popularity, in turn, attracts more listeners. It's a virtuous cycle, isn't it? Think about it. When you share your favorite podcast with a friend or leave a glowing review on your favorite platform, you're not just expressing your love for the show. You're also helping it grow, helping it reach new ears, new hearts. So, the next time you press play on a podcast, remember this. You're not just a listener, you're a vital part of the podcasting journey. You're a shaper of content, a catalyst for growth, and a crucial part of the conversation. Listeners are the lifeblood of any podcast. You breathe life into each episode, each conversation, and that, dear friends, is your irreplaceable role in the world of podcasting. Where is podcasting headed in the future? This question lingers on the minds of many. The podcasting landscape has been evolving rapidly, and it's poised to continue in that trajectory. The future of podcasting is shaping up to be a diverse array of voices and content. We're likely to see a surge in niche podcasts. These are podcasts that cater to a specific audience with unique interests. For instance, there might be a podcast exclusively about underwater basket weaving, or one that dives deep into the history of silent films. Niche podcasts offer an opportunity for hosts to explore their passions while also providing listeners with specialized, in-depth content that they wouldn't find elsewhere. As technology advances, we should also anticipate more interactive podcast formats. Perhaps in the future, podcasts won't just be a one-way medium. Imagine a podcast where you, as a listener, can interact directly with the hosts or other listeners, maybe even shape the direction of the conversation. This could transform the podcasting experience, making it even more engaging and personal. Technological advancements will also significantly impact podcast production and distribution. With the rise of artificial intelligence and machine learning, we might see automated podcast editing or AI-generated content. Who knows? We could even have podcasts delivered straight to our brains in the not-so-distant future. Another trend to watch is the integration of podcasts into other forms of media. We're already seeing podcasts being adapted into TV shows and movies, and this trend is likely to continue. Podcasts could become a stepping stone to other media formats, offering creators more avenues to tell their stories. The future of podcasting is not set in stone. It's fluid, dynamic, and exciting. It's a medium that continues to redefine itself, pushing the boundaries of what's possible. While we can't predict exactly what the future holds, one thing is certain: the world of podcasting is only going to get bigger, better, and more innovative. The future of podcasting looks bright and promising. This is not just a hopeful statement, but a testament to the limitless possibilities that lie ahead in this ever-evolving medium. So what have we learned from our exploration of podcasting? We've discovered the magic behind successful podcasts. It's not merely about having a microphone and a topic, it's about crafting a narrative, engaging your audience with captivating conversations, and creating a space where listeners feel included and valued. It's an art form that requires a delicate balance between speaking and listening, between sharing knowledge and learning from others. We've also acknowledged the vital role listeners play in podcasting. They're not just passive recipients of information, but active participants, contributing to the podcast's growth and evolution through their feedback and engagement. And finally, we've looked into the crystal ball to envision the future of podcasting. With advancements in technology and the growing popularity of this medium, we can expect a world where podcasts become even more interactive, personalized, and diverse. Next time you tune into your favorite podcast, you'll have a deeper appreciation for the magic that goes into creating each episode.